Crisis at the Capitol. D.C. officials confirm one woman is dead and at least 7 people are injured after a mob of pro-Trump protesters stormed the building. Hello, everyone. I'm Vic Carter.
And I'm Rick Ritter. Tonight, hours later, the U.S. Capitol has been declared safe and lawmakers are back at work after complete chaos erupted. Congress is continuing the electoral count tonight, and we want to go straight now to Natalie Brand, who has been on Capitol Hill for us with the very latest for WJZ. Natalie.
House members are now in the process of voting on an objection to Arizona's electors, and that's the issue that lawmakers were debating this afternoon when some protesters stormed the U.S. Capitol building. Things were secured tonight, and as business resumed, the vice president was the first to speak, calling today a dark day in history, but he said those who wreaked havoc at the Capitol did not win.
The objection is not sustained.
The Senate has voted down a challenge to Arizona's electoral votes.
Joe Biden and Kamala Harris are lawfully elected and will become the president and the vice president of the United States on January the 20th.
Earlier, rioters stormed the building, breaking through doors and busting windows. Capitol Police drew their weapons at one barricaded door from inside the House, though eventually protesters breached both chambers.
This mob was in good part President Trump's doing.
President Trump posted a video that has since been removed from Facebook and Twitter, urging calm.
You have to go home now.
Hours earlier, he addressed a gathering near the White House.
We will never give up. We will never concede.
President-elect Joe Biden also addressed the chaos here, calling it an assault on democracy and an insurrection.
Today's reminder, a painful one, that democracy is fragile, and to preserve it requires people of goodwill, leaders with the courage to stand up.
In response to the day's chaos, several Democratic lawmakers are now calling for President Trump to be removed from office. Now, once the House wraps up its vote on that objection, lawmakers must reconvene in a joint session and resume the counting of electoral votes for all the remaining states. It's still unclear at this point whether some GOP members could bring forward any additional objections as initially planned. Meanwhile, the mayor of D.C., we've learned, has extended a public emergency order for the city for an additional 15 days in light of today's violence. On Capitol Hill, I'm Natalie Brandt. Back to you.
Natalie, thank you.
And we want to bring in Kelsey Kushner now, who continues our live team coverage tonight with reaction from Maryland's leaders on today's mayhem. Kelsey.
Vic, Rick, well, both local leaders and congressional members said today was a sad day in America, calling this violence an act of chaos. I've never been in this house. Shocking scenes of chaos inside the nation's capital as rioters breached security perimeters and violently stormed the Capitol building. Lawmakers took shelter inside. State Senator Chris Van Hollen says he was safely evacuated from the Capitol and was on lockdown in his office.
What's going on is an outrageous assault on our democracy, on our Capitol. And it is sadly fueled by a president who refuses to accept the results of a Democratic election.
Inside his office on Capitol grounds, Maryland Congressman John Sarbanes condemned the violence.
It was sad to see that happen. I don't think we've ever encountered something as challenging as this.
As rioters clashed with police, Maryland Congressman David Trone tweeted this photo with what appeared to be a gas mask over his head. Congressman Dutch Ruppersberger tells WJZ he watched in shock as rioters invaded the House and Senate chambers and vandalized offices of congressional leaders.
This is a really sad day for our country. I just can't believe this is happening in the United States of America. You know, we're the strongest country in the world, and we're embarrassing ourselves.
Governor Larry Hogan mobilized 200 state troopers and 500 members of the Maryland National Guard to D.C. to help regain control.
This is a heinous and violent assault on the heart of our democracy. They're threatening the lives of members of Congress and the Vice President for upholding the Constitution.
Howard County Executive Calvin Ball says Wednesday's protest shows a strong divide in our country.
Any person who loves America, this is a disgusting day for democracy.
In Baltimore, Mayor Brandon Scott offered support to D.C.'s mayor.
You cannot storm the U.S. Capitol that way. There's supposed to be a peaceful transition. We have elections for a reason.
Now, we have since learned that the FBI here in Baltimore have since been deployed to Washington, D.C. to help the U.S. Capitol Police. I'm told that other local police agencies are on standby, ready to go if necessary. Reporting live tonight, Kelsey Kushner for WJZ.
All right, Kelsey, thank you. And many leaders across the country calling today's violence an act of domestic terrorism. Amy Kawada spoke with experts, and they have more on the insight into all of this. Amy.
We're willing to risk our lives! A lockdown at the U.S. Capitol.
We're going to stand up.
Thousands of President Trump supporters swarmed the Capitol building Wednesday afternoon as the House and Senate meet to count the Electoral College votes to certify President-elect Joe Biden's victory. Some fought past police and breached the building, shouting and waving flags as they stormed through the halls, all to protest the election and keep President Donald Trump in office.
What we're seeing is just symbolically, if not in real dangerous situations, striking at the very heart and symbol of American democracy, the United States Capitol building.
Michael Greenberger with the University of Maryland Center for Health and Homeland Security, speaking on the events unfolding at the U.S. Capitol, calling this an act of domestic terrorism.
Well, lo and behold, today we have terrorists, but they're domestic terrorists. The inauguration has been put in danger. The Electoral College approval has been put in danger. We've never seen the Capitol, the Senate floor, the House floor being made a target of people wielding weapons.
Greenberger says these are protesters committing crimes that are prosecutable with the intention of overturning the democratic election of a president of the United States, noting it's a classic act of insurrection and indictable. He says he believes the political consequences are going to be dramatic.
And leaders across the nation have called for prosecution of Capitol rioters. WJZ did reach out to the Attorney General of Maryland's office for comment, but have not heard back yet. Reporting live tonight, I'm Amy Kawada for WJZ.